All right, so we're ready to move on with our part. And the next feature that we want to add to our part are the holes. And just to refresh your memory on what our part looks like, we want to add these four holes here on the that are on the corner of our part. Okay, so let's go back to our part here, and we're in 3D mode, and we could use if you notice that there's a hole feature here, but the only way you can add a hole to a part if you have a point indicating where you're going to place the center of that hole, and we don't have that. And so in order to add points, you have to do that in sketch mode. All right. Um, or there's a couple different ways that we can add holes, and so let's just go into sketch mode to begin with. So we're going to sketch on the top face of our surface here. Just to point out, as you can see, the holes are on the face. Whether you call it the top or the bottom, um, it's on the wider face of your cube here or your part here. So right click on that face and then look for new sketch. So now we're in sketch mode, and you can tell by the ribbon has changed back to give us these sketch buttons, and then you can tell that sketch is highlighted in green up here. So we're going to use a technique called offset because it just makes it a little easier um, to add because we're adding four holes that are going to be in the same spot in respect to the corner. We're going to use offset, but the mode I was talking about before, you can just simply take a point and put it on there, and then you can finish your sketch and go back and use your hole feature, and this will be the center of your hole. Okay, but that's not, we don't want to use that technique. So let's highlight this and just click delete. And let's go ahead up here in the modify section and click offset, and then click the edge of your rectangle and then drag it in here. This is probably a good spot here. Left click again, and then to get out of this feature, right click and click OK. Okay, so now next thing we want to do is we want to dimension this. We want to dimension this gap in between the inside rectangle and the outside rectangle. So click dimension, click the top left corner of the outside rectangle, top left corner of the inside rectangle, and then move your mouse in between the two. Make sure your pointer is in between the two, then move up. Okay, so now you're dimensioning that space in between this corners here. And I'll just move this off to the side so it's easier to see. Left click and then type in 5 for 5 millimeters. All right. We're still in dimension mode, so I'm going to click the top side of this inside rectangle here, and notice that it gives me a value of 39. And you should get this prompt here. If you do, just click accept. Okay, so now notice let me get out of dimension mode, right click and OK. Okay, so notice that this number here, that's 5 millimeters, and then you have this number here, 39, which is in millimeters. And because the space here in between here is the same all the way around, all right, so that means that this gap over here from here to here, that's 5 also. Remember, we set our edge, we set the edge of this thing to 49 on our original sketch. So the maximum amount of distance that we have to play with is 49. And we've used up 10 here. 5 on this side, 5 on this side. So the only thing that's left is 39, which is why you see this 39 in parentheses, because this is what's called a driven dimension. Okay? Because you force this dimension to be a specific value based on the driving values, which are on the outside here. Notice that they don't have any parentheses. So if you see parentheses, that's driven dimension. No parentheses, that's driving. Okay? This is determining what this value is here. If I change this, it'll affect this one here. Okay? So now we're done with the offset feature, and we can go ahead and finish the sketch, and then make sure you save your work. All right. And then in the next video, we're going to go ahead and add the holes to our part.